Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Jack Knows Best. As always, I'm your host at Javanaugh87, Jack Kavanaugh, and I am here for once to learn something. We have invited Dr. Edwin Porras on the show to talk to us all about the injuries throughout the NFL and to see if he knows better than Jack. Mr. Saquon RB1 here to join the show. Dr. Edwin, how's it going?
That's Dr. Saquon RB1 to you. I'm just kidding.
Dr.
I'm good, man.
Saquon
I'm excited.
RB1.
I'm joking. But yeah, I'm excited to talk, man. Let's get to it.
Perfect. Well, let's hop in this 12-person $3 draft here on Underdog. And we will get going. So waiting on 4 people. Perfect timing. Anyways, while we wait, Edwin, what is some of the biggest, baddest injury news going on right now?
I stubbed my toe earlier today, walking across the hallway. It was really not something I expected. I feel I'll be good. It kind of took a little bit for me to get back on my feet. Other than that, Michael Thomas, of course, with the hamstring strain, something you want to monitor. It's not something that should keep you from drafting him or anything like that. Any lower than he is already going. Really status quo. I mean, we know that Ken Walker probably won't be ready by week 1 based on anything that we've heard from Pete Carroll in the past. His history doesn't seem like Kenneth Walker will be available. That's it, man. I just took Saquon in another draft, so feeling good.
So with the toe, is that turf toe that we're talking about? Full-blown turf toe?
No, I'm just soft. So I guess you could call it soft toe. I'm just a soft guy, and I'm a little sensitive, and I just rammed I jammed my toe into the wall. So it's not something you're ever expecting. You know what I mean? Like, that's never fun.
No, definitely not. And probably up there with some of the worst injuries that the NFL actually does have.
I'll give you top 5 worst injuries as a common person. Number 5. We'll start with number 5. Number 5, a paper cut in between the slits of your hand. True or false? That's one of the worst injuries that you could sustain as a common layperson. Those injuries that are in between your thumbs, those are really bad. Number 4, I'll go ahead and say stub toe. Stub toe, you never expect it. It hurts for a little bit, and then it goes away. Does anybody want to take over with their top 3? I mean, I have another top 3. I could go for ages. Is the draft filled yet?
The draft has filled. What is your account? Where are you picking from?
Well, Jack, not entirely sure. Am I supposed to be doing a draft with you right now? Did you send me this link?
So I'm sorry. I thought we had talked about this already. My mistake. This was on Underdog Fantasy that we were talking about.
That's okay. We can. I can go to Underdog. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Are we in the same draft lobby? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
That's what we will be doing. But Mike and I will exit. We'll go into another one and let it get filled here.
Do what you got to do, and then you tell me what to do. We might have talked about this. I might have forgotten, Jack, so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I probably should have reminded you. So we're going to hop on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to hop in the 12-person $3 draft and draft a team from there with the Wheel of Wow telling us what we're doing.
Okay. Here, I'm looking for it.
This is the problem. When Steve is unavailable, all the technical stuff goes to the wayside.
I see. So it's a 3-person. I see $3 draft.
Yeah.
And a 3. Yeah, that's it.
$3 draft, 12-person.
Not the slow one.
I see now. Okay. Here we are.
All right. Waiting on 6 people.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
Perfect. My apologies. Should have set the stage ahead of time, but I know you just finished a draft before hopping on here. How'd that go?
I think it went well. I'm not entirely certain. I'm still getting approval from the masses here. You know, I started at the 11 slot, went on and got Diggs and Saquon. AJ Brown fell to me. He's my wide receiver 2. Didn't go Godwin, so I was a coward. I should have went Godwin, but I got Mike Williams instead.
You're back
Swung
in
around.
on Godwin.
I'm back in on Godwin, man. Back in on Godwin.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that Godwin pick, especially as your wide receiver 3 or flex. I probably reached a little on Jalen Hurts. I should have waited on Trey Lance and gotten a little more, maybe running back value or wide receiver value. But yeah, man. Overall, I think it's fine. I think it did okay.
Sounds like you're doing pretty good, but none of us can really be surprised at this point. You are the expert when it comes to injuries and fantasy just in general.
Well, I appreciate that, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'm just a schmuck, man.
Ah,
I just
well,
do what I can and do what I can.
A schmuck who properly values Saquon Barkley.
There you
At
go.
least that.
So make sure you follow Dr. Edwin Porras at FBInjuryDoc on Twitter. Any other pluggables to plug out there? Is that your main?
No, that's my main steez there, but I also wanted to promote my podcast. I do a really bad job of promoting it. I realize if you come across my Twitter page, there's no way for you to even know that I have a podcast, but it's an Injury Prone podcast. If you subscribe to it, you leave a rating and you leave a review, maybe I'll shout you out on Twitter if I see it. I'm really bad at checking those, but I really appreciate them. Honestly, like without the reviews and without people listening, obviously it's all for nothing. So, I appreciate the views and I appreciate all the support so far, but if you could go to Injury Prone podcast and subscribe, then cheers.
I'll double check and make sure I left a review. I'm pretty sure last year when we had you on the podcast,
I think you may have.
I subscribed then. Pretty sure I left a review, but I'll double check. Maybe I can get you up to the full 10 stars instead of just the 5, leaving a second review.
You should have left a 4.5 star review.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think Apple Podcasts lets you do that. That would also have been very rude. You're much more quality than that. And the draft is filled, it appears.
Here we go.
And with the first pick. So what is your account name?
So I am EPFP.
EPFP.
Where am I at? The 8?
Yeah,
Okay.
You are picking at the 108. And unfortunately, without Steve here, we can't share the draft screen. We just got the Wheel of Wow. Mike picking at the 109, and I am picking at the 105. So let's ride.
Let's see how this is going to start.
First round, flex. Pick whatever
boy.
you want,
All
except
right.
a quarterback, which Edwin, what's your thoughts on QB's round 1? I assume no.
Terrible. No, the worst.
Okay.
Allen in the second is dumb. But hey, to each their own. To each their own. And if you want to draft a quarterback in the first round in a non-superflex league, I'm not going to stop you. That's for sure.
What about Herbert in the third? Also dumb?
Starts to get a little less dumb, but still probably not worth it if you can wait until Jalen Hurts or Trey Lance or even Justin Fields comes available.
There we go. That's always the decision point is I can get Jalen Hurts a lot later.
I'm
Big
loving me some
Jalen
Hurts
Hurts
this
guy.
year. Hurts
Yeah,
is
I got
gonna
Hurts
kill
on
it.
that team I was just talking about earlier. I loved it.
That's
Like I
the
said, I
Hurts
probably
and Brown
reached on him a
stack?
little. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do it. After I took Hurts, I was like, oh, that's a convenient little stack there.
They've been loving each other so far.
Yeah, he's going to get, what is it, 11 billion targets or something?
He is one of the most consistently undervalued assets in Dynasty, I'm finding, because I'm auto drafting him in the 3rd, 4th round. If I don't take him, sometimes he's going to the back of the 4th, even the 5th round. And that's just such a far drop for a wide receiver that was in the top 3 conversation just 2 years ago before Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase entered the league and blew everyone away.
It doesn't help that he was on the Titans, man. Nobody cares about the Titans.
Hmm.
People barely care about Derrick Henry. It's like Derrick Henry is like one of the most unique specimen of an athlete that we've ever seen. And people are like, I mean, yeah, they respect him and stuff, but People hardly care, man. It's the Titans. Now that he's in Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia being a big sports town, a big sports city, they're super passionate people. I think that we might see a little bit more mainstream media coverage on AJ Brown. But yeah, AJ Brown's a legitimate alpha wide receiver, man. Like he is insanely good at football. So it'll be fun to see what goes down this year.
He's just a bully, but now with my pick at the 105, I get Christian McCaffrey, who dropped thanks to Derrick Henry going at the 104.
Yeah.
Jefferson and Kupp at the 102 and 103. And I got to ask you.
This isn't super flex, right? This is super flex.
This is not a super flex.
Interesting. Okay.
Just a straight best ball. And I got to ask you, though, Christian McCaffrey at the 105 after Derrick Henry. We're not worried about McCaffrey's injuries, are we?
Not that much. That's for sure. Here we are. All right. So I'm going to say at the 108. I mean, Jamar Chase is sitting right. I can't not go Jamar Chase here.
Yeah. For me, it's pretty easy. It's the 101's Jonathan Taylor. The 102's Christian McCaffrey. And then at that point, I'm pivoting over to wide receiver. I'm waiting on Derrick Henry. This is
kind of a wonky draft. I think it's worth mentioning. Taylor went 1, which is chalk. We had Jefferson 2, Kupp 3, Henry 4, McCaffrey 5. Then we had Cook go right after McCaffrey, right after you drafted. Kind of a wonky draft here, at least in my opinion.
No, absolutely is. And what is going on here? Oh, again. All right. So with our next pick in the second round, we will be taking a super flex so we can take any position we want now.
Also nice. So basically, again.
Yeah, basically we are just doing a regular draft here so far, Edwin.
Yeah. We've been the wheel's been kind so far.
But what else is in there? It's just like every position essentially.
Yeah, you're going to draft at least 4 running backs. You're going to draft at least 2 tight ends, at least 2 quarterbacks. So you can take 3 quarterbacks with the super flex. But again, in best ball, do you really want that third quarterback unless you're forced into it by a really bad, really late tandem?
Or a really random wheel on the internet.
Also that too.
Yes.
So
far after that, we had Diggs go, Devontae, Swift, Kamara. Kind of chalky, I guess. Najee, my boy's still on the board. I don't think he's going to make it to me based on what's going down here.
And Mike Manning's picking right before you too, so you don't want to spoil that.
Mike,
I'd be a terrible
terrible
Mike,
you don't even know. You don't know who my boy is. It's okay. You don't know.
I think we all have a pretty.
I have a lot of boys. I have a handful of boys in this region here.
There's no indication whatsoever here.
None. And if you were to look at my queue, you definitely wouldn't know.
Don't worry.
Aaron Jones off the board ahead of Joe Mixon.
That's
ahead of
Devontae's still there.
I was fine with that.
Joe Mixon to Mike Manning.
Phew.
Yo, you're a Saquon Barkley fan?
Really?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's pretty good.
Surely you're worried about the knee and the explosiveness and just everything.
No, I'm actually not. But some people talk about it. I mean, I've known to dabble in some Saquon chatter.
Yeah, so we're Saquon Barkley, a full almost 2 years removed from the ACL. Is that right now?
Yeah, and it wasn't even going to matter, man. The dude was smashing before anyway, and he stepped on a dude's foot after the whistle blew, and it was never the same last year. Here's what I want to get off my chest. Like any injury analyst or any fantasy analyst in general who told you, yeah, I wasn't targeting Barkley last year, and now I am. And they're kind of like low-key victory lapping. They're wrong. Their process was objectively wrong. The right process was to not fade him in the first place. You shouldn't have been you're basically telling on yourself that you had wrong process by saying, yeah, we had a good, we had good process on fading Barkley last year. Like, no, it wasn't. And by week 4, everybody knew that it wasn't. But now you're trying to have revisionist history and say that it was good process. It wasn't. It's bad process. Because the outcome didn't work out, but it definitely wasn't because you had the right process of fading Saquon Barkley. I mean, the dude checked all the boxes to be an outlier, and that's where he was headed. But whatever. I've said that enough times, Jack. You've heard
you have. But outlier wise, it seems as though Chris Godwin is trending in that direction too.
Yes. So Chris Godwin basically meets everything you'd want to see in terms of NFL draft capital, in terms of his athleticism, in terms of his age. I mean, everything you'd want to see. He's a minimally complicated ACL case. Like everything that you'd want to see out of Chris Godwin for an outlier season, he meets that criteria. So I'm excited for him.
All right. The wheel.
Did we spin the wheel yet? Yeah.
Yeah. The wheel
say?
gave us running back. I messed up. I didn't pull the wheel on the first two ones, but that's fine. We'll make up for it later. Running back drops off a hill here.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
It's about to drop off mightily.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help with the first two picks being running back for at least two of us here.
Yeah, I took C.
That's what happens when you go robust. It's
It's always going to come back to bite you.
There was a big drop.
You let your testosterone. You let your testosterone get the best of you here.
Now one of you is going to get the tea pumping with Ezekiel Elliott or James Conner. A lot of people talk. This is another one. James Conner has always been the picture of injury prone until he wasn't. And I know injury prone is really a concept you go over a lot, Edwin.
Yeah. The thing about James Conner is that James Conner has not stayed healthy like his entire career, essentially, until he played 15 games last year. And he carried a lot of people to the playoffs at least. And I don't want to be obviously I'm always an injury optimist a lot of times because I think injuries are random and the data and the literature shows we can't predict injuries. The closest thing we can do to predicting injuries is projecting a recurrence. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of if he does it again this year, then he'll have proved me wrong. But it's hard for me to see his entire career and body of work and trust him. And I just don't like taking a running back in that range anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of the dead zone of running backs. The one exception I typically make, Travis Etienne, who I just nabbed there. But that's another player coming off injury with the Liz Franck injury. And I've read your kind of comments on it, the literature on it, and we're basically sum it up because from I gather we're expecting him to kind of be slow to start out and then be fine.
Yeah. And I'm deciding here between Zeke and Connor. And I mean,
so much testosterone
flowing through my veins. I went Zeke here. That's what my gut told me to do. But yeah, I mean, Connor's one of those guys, like I said, and Mike went James Conner. Okay, there you go. He's one of those guys that I think I'm just going to miss out on him. I mean, if he does it this year, then he does it this year. I don't think that the upside is that big, big enough to really drive me to take a running back in the third round when I've already probably gone at least one running back in the first round, especially this year. Maybe it was last year, it'd be a different story, but you can get so many good running backs at that turn.
Well, in my defense, we were forced.
Correct. In my defense too. Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't have taken Zeke here either in your defense. So
yeah.
Well, the good news is we are now taking tight ends, so I'm sure everyone will get to leave happy because tight end is a lovely position full of plenty of superstars, and we should not abolish the position for fantasy football purposes whatsoever.
No, it's not like we literally just heard Mike Gesicki say about he not knowing he's learning a new position now because he was wide receiver his entire career. And now he's moving into tight end.
I guess Waller's fine. This is reaching in a real draft, but this is fine.
That's what the wheel forces.
That's what the wheel said. The almighty wheel.
See, at least you guys get George Kittle and Darren Waller, so it's a reach in the fourth round. But, you can live with that kind of reach. I'm deciding now between Dalton Schultz, the undersized move tight end for the Cowboys, TJ Hawkinson, who is just a big slot but can't block, and
kind of disappointing.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson really, and this is coming from a guy who does a Lions podcast. TJ Hawkinson hasn't lived up to the hype of that top 10 pick. I hope he can turn it around, but no, I think I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert just because as we've also talked about, Jalen Hurts, big fan of him. Really expect this Eagles offense to take a next step forward. And with the Philadelphia Eagles offense, they're going to score more points. Dallas Goedert was a target monster after Zach Ertz went down. So Dallas Goedert, let's go.
I'd feel happier about it in best ball like this than I would in a redraft scenario.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with our next pick, we will be taking a
Not running back?
running back or wide receiver.
All right. Got the wide receiver option at least.
Nah, you should probably go running back here, Mike.
You know, it's probably the best thing because look at all these running backs that are sitting at the top here of 3 wide receivers, then Cam Akers, then about 5 wide receivers, then JK, 5 more wide receivers, then some more running backs. Like, yeah, running back's the way to go, obviously.
And with the wide receivers available up here, yeah. This is the perfect time to go, except Cam Akers fall into the 4th round. That is another one of the values that I kind of get behind. That out on Zeke, out on James Conner, but in this pocket, the dead zone RBs, if I'm going to have to go with someone, it's going to be Cam Akers or Travis Etienne.
You like average players, Jack? I guess I could have guessed that.
Average? Travis Etienne is an elite pass catcher.
Wait. Did you say Akers or Etienne?
Oh, I said both, but like that's the tier. Those are the 2 from the Zeke tier.
Oh, okay. I definitely take Etienne over Akers, like 10 out
Oh,
of 10.
me too. No, absolutely. Yeah. However, if I'm in that dead zone tier, Cam Akers is the one after Etienne I want, whereas I'm fading James Conner and I'm fading Zeke.
People ask me like James Conner versus I'm sorry, not James Conner. People ask me JK versus Akers all the time. And I didn't know how to answer the question, but I really think that at this point it's honestly Dobbins. And I don't want to say it's like an easy slam dunk, but I'd much rather have the more talented athlete off of an injury that we at least know has some precedent players can come back from than the guy who we literally have no precedent for. And according to his coach is going to be in a timeshare. Like, I just don't trust it, especially that early, given their ADP.
We've also been hearing, we thought we were going to be concerned about Dobbins at the beginning of the season, but as training camp has progressed, it's been Edwards that's been more concerning, and Dobbins seems to be hitting the ground running pretty well. So,
yeah, Dobbins, and that's the thing too, is like Dobbins isn't necessarily a sure thing either. He's had a lot of weird like reports around him, and he's had a whole year to rehab, and he's still not 100%. So, Jack, who are you going to go here?
With this pick, I'm gonna do what my head says instead of my heart. I'm not gonna take Rashad Bateman. I'm gonna go for the 140, 150, 160 targets of Deontay Johnson.
Oh,
not a Deontay Johnson fan?
I don't want to say that.
See, I am of the mindset that Deontay is the only guy in Pittsburgh that I want. I don't want anyone else.
That quarterback situation, man. The thing is, like, Ben Roethlisberger just probably lobbed it up to him every single time that he broke the huddle. Roethlisberger was thinking, I'm probably just going to lob this up to Deontay. Like, that's probably going to go away this year. Somebody took Godwin. Interesting best ball. All right, I would typically go Bateman for upside, but given the volume versus somebody like Allen Robinson, who's going to be hopefully playing that Robert Woods role in that offense, a dude who is not washed by any account, going to see a lot of volume in that offense. That offense is going to be in the NFC West, which we know is going to put up some fireworks. I'm going to go Allen Robinson here as my wide receiver 2. I actually like that. I like that start. Despite the Zeke start, I like that Allen Robinson as my wide receiver 2.
Well, see, back to Deontay Johnson for a second. I still think he's the clear-cut alpha there for now. I think that's why he got the contract. So I'm not worried about his target share this year. And then next year, we'll see. I think George Pickens might be able to pass him. But for now, all in on Deontay Johnson for one more year. Allen Robinson, though, he's going to have a lot of 2-touchdown weeks. Because you remember, everyone was disappointed. Oh, Robert Woods, you can't produce. You know, he's been so, like, at the start of last year, he's so average. And then all of a sudden, he'd have a 5-reception, 2-touchdown week. Oh, Robert Woods, he's so good again. And all year long, by the time he got hurt, he was consistently wide receiver 12. And he's always wide receiver 12 to wide receiver 15. Somewhere in that range, Allen Robinson can very easily step into that role.
We got to spin, Jack.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, too excited about Allen Robinson rebounding because we know I cursed him last year. Wide receiver up next. Wide receiver.
This is why I was not concerned at all about going running back. This is why. I knew the run was coming.
I was in an industry league where we had a run of 15 straight wide receivers go.
15?
Yeah, it was 15, and then it was like 17 out of 20 picks.
Ooh. I get it, though.
I'm here.
The running backs this year are just so much more underwhelming, it feels, than in years past.
I don't think there's a lot that you just don't even see much of a big upside or a ceiling that you're really caring about. It's just like middling backfields.
My pick here, and I do not like the options. I should have asked about Drake London before my pick was on the clock and his knee injury that's come up. So instead, I'm going to go with Adam.
Whose knee injury?
Drake London's.
Oh, right. I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Well, I took Adam Thielen instead, but I'm still fine with it. I do like Adam Thielen this year, falling back into that 6th, 7th round kind of range, because he produced a lot of boom weeks with the touchdown upside under Mike Zimmer, with the Vikings passing the ball more this year. It raises both the floor and the ceiling for Adam Thielen.
I think there's a Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No. The past 2 seasons, only Mike Evans had caught more percentage of his catches turning into touchdowns than Adam Thielen. So,
Ooh.
I mean, he is a touchdown guy, but it's gone well when he's been on the field either way.
What I was going to say is I think there's a non-zero chance that somebody, either Irv Smith or KJ Osborne or a combination of the two, take over that third pass catching role, simply because Adam Thielen's coming off surgery. He's like 32 years old.
What surgery?
He has hardware in his foot. He had basically the exact surgery, not the exact surgery, but very similar surgery that Michael Thomas had in his foot. So he's got screws and plates in his foot.
Why does no one talk about this?
Yeah, that seems like something. I didn't know it was the exact same as Thomas.
Well, if you follow this account by the name of at FB Injury Doc, you'll see that when it comes to injury analysis on Adam Thielen, if you give me just a second here as I filibuster, so I can tell you the exact date and timestamp.
This must have been a day I was working. I'm going to blame it on that.
So, as of July 17th of 2022, I tweeted Adam Thielen had surgery last year at 32 years old. Once the season starts, the touchdown machine might have a harder time getting off the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that's still going to be the case. I can't prove that. I haven't seen him play. I haven't been at practice, but I mean, it's in the realm of possibilities that he slows down.
No, it's absolutely notable.
Do we spin?
Yeah, running back, wide receiver.
Oh, this is beautiful.
That makes me more interested in Osborne, though. That's for sure.
See,
Graham Barfield at Fantasy Points really likes KJ Osborne as a late round dart throw.
I have been drafting a lot of KJ Osborne, so even though I'm basically just in on the Vikings pass catchers, all 3 of them, Irv Smith to a lesser extent, but that's just because I don't like tight ends in that range to begin with. I'm always either drafting one. I'm pretty much always drafting one before then.
This is the first year I'm totally punting on tight end. I made the dumb mistake of drafting that zone of like this, basically the equivalent of this year's TJ Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, like that tier. I made the mistake of drafting that just because I fell into the stupid psychology of I need to fill this position with a decent player. Like, this is dumb. It's just dumb decision on my choice.
I'm always a proponent of waiting till like the double-digit rounds, just take 2 dart throws and hope for the best.
Absolutely. That's what I'm doing this year.
Except for in this draft where you're forced.
Except for in this draft.
With a gun to your head to draft Aaron
A wheel
Walker.
to my head. A wheel to my head.
Yeah. I ended up taking Brandon Ayuk. I don't feel great about it. It was between him, Tony Pollard, and I'm not so in on Amari Cooper anymore.
No, I don't think you should be. I
Thank
think that
you.
offense is going to look very bad. I think that they're just in a bad situation. Imagine, like, here's the thing that I think there's this narrative about like momentum, right? Like momentum is kind of a tricky situation, like a tricky topic, because we know that we can't measure it. Like, how do you even measure momentum? What does that mean? But we know it exists. Like, I know that it gets a bad rap from like the analytics bros who don't like the term momentum. Like, yes, you should be analytically deciding what you're going to do next. Yes, you should be using data to help drive your decisions. As Jack spins the wheel, let us know what it is, Jack.
It's our second
boy.
tight end.
Gross. Are you serious?
Oh, that's
I
not
hate
fun.
this game.
2 tight ends in the
what I was
top
saying-
8 rounds.
What I was saying is, like, moral story is like psychological feel of how athletes perform and how they're feeling in the environment that they're in definitely matters. Imagine being any other dude in that locker room right now where you have this Deshaun, like, imagine what it's like. What do you go to work every day thinking to yourself, like, this season's a wash? Like, you know, like, this guy's a creep job. Like, who knows, like, what thoughts they have. And that definitely impacts performance. Like, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Knowing that, like, being in that environment is not a good thing. I'll say that much. So that's just, I don't know, that whole situation I'm staying away from.
Well, and you think about even once they get on the field, there's going to be comments from the other team when they're trying to get into each other's head. It's not going to go away. You're going to be thinking about it even while the suspension's going on. And just the morale is going to drag because of it. Amari Cooper is really the top receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones completely unestablished still. David Njoku still hasn't broken out the way people want him to. So really, it's Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb that are going to be carrying the workload, and I don't think that's enough.
I think they're going to be hurt the most. Like, between the news of how long the suspension turned out to be, Chubb and Cooper took the biggest hits out of anybody on that offense. Njoku, I think, took the biggest rise. I think Kareem Hunt's going to take a bit of a rise. Not very much, but a little bit. Just because
until Kareem Hunt gets traded to the Eagles.
Sure. I mean, that's still going to be... He's still going to get a rise there.
Taking Zach Ertz with my tight end pick because everyone else is gone and I'm in pain. Oh, what are we going to do this round? What fresh hell is this? And it's a wide receiver.
I'm telling you.
You're really cramping our style here by making us take that second tight end, Jack.
Yeah, don't blame me. Blame the wheel. And looking at the wide receivers on the board here, 2 that come to mind in terms of talking about their injuries or health in general. Robert Woods, Treylon Burks, same team down in Tennessee. Are we worried about Treylon Burks and the asthma on the playing?
You asked the question. I was going through. I was like, I think he said something about Tennessee, but I was reading through the list here.
Oh,
Are we worried about Treylon Burks in Tennessee? Is that the question?
And also Robert Woods with the ACL, just the combo in general.
Dude, I'm just staying away from that situation. Like, yes, doesn't worry. It's a concern. I mean, do we even know if Robert Woods is off the pup yet? A lot of times we jump the shark and we forget to even check basic information like that. Like, is Robert Woods off the pup? Do you know?
That's a great question. Then
he's not wearing.
I'm sure we could find out quickly.
Yeah.
But he's gonna. I mean, he's cutting it really close. His 9-month mark isn't until next week. So he's cutting it extremely close. I know he's looked good, but it's definitely not something that's a slam dunk yet that he'll even be active.
I'm looking to find if he is on the PUP. Oh, goodness, it's also my pick.
Your pick? Yeah.
I got to do both of these. All right, I'm going to take Tyler Boyd, wide receiver 3 with the Bengals, because at least I'm going to get some consistency. I'm going to get the boom weeks, whereas Tyler Lockett, who's throwing to him?
Wait. Where are you getting? You're getting a boom week from Tyler Boyd?
Yeah.
He has 2 touchdown weeks.
Is that going to happen?
It happens.
I mean, Lockett is the epitome of boom weekend.
With Russell Wilson.
Lockett's a Kansas State man too. I mean, how can we not go Kansas State here? 2011, or I'm sorry, it's 2012 Big 12 champions. If you didn't know, if you don't know now, you know.
No, just I'm worried
Co-champions, by the way.
Co-champions. Who are they co-champions with?
I think freaking OU or something. Baylor. I don't even remember. F them.
Finally,
Another wide receiver. We have completely avoided quarterback. The tight end went bad. But
I mean, you gave us 2 tight ends, man. That totally wrecked our chances anyway.
You know what? I have had it up to here with you, Edwin. As I continue to search for Robert Woods on the pup. No, he avoided the pup, but he's still just doing it.
Oh, no pup. That's good.
Yeah. I think he's just doing individual stuff still, though, from what it seems.
I remember social media sending out for him doing drills without a brace on.
That's good. It's decent.
I didn't think that was a bad thing. That's, that should at least have some positivity to it.
For sure.
And no, not too many other injuries at the wide receivers here that we're looking up. There's the eternally, is he going to be hurt? Is the foot going to go? Is the hamstring going to go? What's next for Julio Jones? But he seems to be the healthiest player in Tampa Bay right now, at least, with all the offensive line going down. Tom Brady's back, at least. He's done filming The Masked Singer, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely singing he's competing in The Masked Singer, so we'll see that episode probably the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, Julio's healthy right now. That hamstring could go at any minute. But I think that he really is in a good spot right now. So let's see, Garrett Wilson. I have Elijah Moore already. Devontae Parker. There really aren't that many more booms left here. Unless I wanted to go dust with Kenny Golladay. I mean, Chase Claypool, Rondé Moore. Yeah, man. I'm kind of not liking wide receiver. Kind of dried up, didn't it?
It did, and it
We
does.
helped with that a lot.
Oh, shoot. It's going to auto-draft me. I ran out of time.
Well, Dak Prescott, the auto draft. So
Not what I wanted. But hey, I needed a quarterback. It's fine. He's rushing quarterback.
Well, next time we get a quarterback, you're just going to have to draft a wide receiver, it looks like.
You just saw me freeze anyway. Like, I probably wasn't a quarterback anyway. Like,
Mike took Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, go with that upside.
not a bad pick.
I mean, if you're gonna have a guy on the Packers offense, somebody has to catch the ball. Can't always be Aaron Jones.
That's any team, right? Like, somebody's got to catch the ball.
Yeah, somebody's got to catch it. So I know he wants it to be either Lazard or Watkins or Cobb because they're veterans and they know what they're doing. But there's a more than zero chance that it's Doubs that ends up the season as the leading receiver.
True.
Running back will be up next for us in our draft here. Are you worried at all about the reports that Aaron Rodgers has asked for the starting 3 receivers to be Watkins, Lazard, and Cobb?
Did he ask that really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
After yelling about rookies needing to step up.
Yeah, guy takes ayahuasca one time, thinks he can manage a team.
He did
also
also
play quarterback. He's so annoying lately. He's just so annoying.
He also said that Romeo Doubs has been so impressive that he's not going to be held to rookie standards anymore. He's going to get held to regular player standards. So it's good and bad for Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, I don't know what that actually what is it? So how do you go from saying that first comment and then saying the second comment within several days of each other and expecting any clarity whatsoever? Was Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca at that time?
Yeah, I was gonna say he is the most inconsistent paradox that he's so unironically just contradicts himself. I've been so sick of the dude the last 2 years. Whatever. He's annoying, honestly. A lot of the things he says in the media. The most annoying part was him being oh, I have this opinion on vaccines, and I am being silenced as he speaks on the largest sorry, I cussed. On the largest sports platform, the Pat McAfee show, and he's on ESPN. It's dude, nobody's silencing you. What is this victim complex you have all of a sudden? You have one of the biggest voices in the NFL right now. He's just
after hosting Jeopardy.
Right, he hosts Jeopardy. He's got all these platforms, and he's talking about being silenced. Get out of here. He's annoying.
Aaron
Alaska.
It's the classic chip on their shoulder. Everyone's their enemy. And, Tom Brady just does it in a different and better way, but it's the same thing. You hear him talking about you're going to stick with that MFer who we now know is either Ryan Fitzpatrick or Derek Carr. Hasn't been confirmed. It's one of the two.
Well, I mean, in his defense.
Valid question.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was somebody like Rodgers or somebody like Mahomes, right? Like you probably wouldn't have said that, but it was one of those two guys.
That's what it's sounding like. And I took Melvin Gordon as my RB3. He and Javonte
Are we taking
Williams,
RBs? Is that what we decided?
Yes,
RBs?
we are taking RBs here. And it seems like he and Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, still going to be at least a 60-40 split.
Yeah, that's let's see here.
But apparently Denver wants it to be Javonte's backfield, but we're still going to see that split.
Let's do it. Let's get after it.
Isaiah Pacheco, love the pick.
That's right. That's right. ADP's 142, but took him at the 113. I know it's a little gassed, but I mean, this is a jacked up roster because of that stupid wheel anyway. So we'll let it ride. Well,
let's see what we're riding with next here. Running back again.
RB.
The wheel doesn't like mixing it up. Once it gets into a position, it just wants to keep going. Hammering it through.
Yeah, the wheel is kind of a jerk in all honesty. No two ways about it. You know what's funny though? Antonio Gibson didn't go until the 10-11 in this draft. Brian Robinson goes one round later at the 11-10.
Good old Brian Robinson.
The people are completely out on Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I don't think we know what's going to happen in that backfield, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
This could all be just like Ron Rivera mind games, that old school guard mind games of you fumbled, and so we're going to punish you for the next 2 weeks, as if you don't know that fumbling's a bad thing. You're not a grown adult that's played football your whole life. I'm bitter, guys. I'm just bitter of these old school tactics. Like, I'm tired of Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of these old school coaches. Like, I know obviously the league like super respects Ron Rivera. He's been through a lot personally. Like, all that stuff's good. It's fine and it's true. And he's just annoyingly old school. Old school with like, have you read any psychology studies about positive affirmation versus, that like negative? I'm on the clock here. Okay, let's see. We got running back. Let's see. Worst case scenario in a worst case world. Breece Hall goes down and I have Michael Carter.
Well, that was my pick.
Yep.
And even if he doesn't go down, he is still good enough pass catcher to have a role on this Jets offense, especially with Joe Flacco at quarterback.
That will be huge. If it's anybody but Zach Wilson. We've done the joke. Let's just put the joke machine back there. And it would still be better for any running back on the team.
I guess I'm going with Tyler Algier here. He's pretty much the Falcons starting running back anyways. But
basically,
with Joe Flacco, he's going to be checking it down to Michael Carter instead of taking the risk that Zach Wilson would. We know he is a risky boy.
Hey,
risky boy. I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
Quarterback here. So, Edwin, you will be taking a wide receiver because you skipped that last time.
Oops.
It's fine.
My bad.
Just broke the rules of the wheel, and it's been punishing us ever since because of you. It's fine.
So the wheel has a vendetta now?
Yes. Apparently the wheel has a vendetta.
The live being. The wheel's a live organism.
And I have no stack options here. Every stack option is gone unless I want to go Pittsburgh, which I do not.
Yeah, this is the worst best ball team I've ever drafted. By far. By a mile.
Unless it's a tight end premium, then it'd be the best one you've probably ever had.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've got
Who
one.
does that?
Got one outside the box stack. I'm looking in here. Oh, and I guess I can tell you guys because you're not going to be drafting before me. I'm hoping to get Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. Get that stack going at least.
Yeah, that'd be better than no stack, which I am currently rolling with.
The Dak Prescott the naked Dak Prescott.
The naked Dak Prescott.
You could go. Actually, he's off the board now, probably. But yeah, Michael Gallup, he's off the board. He's out week 1 at the very latest. Probably going to be out through at least 4 weeks on that PUP list, I'd imagine.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Gallup.
Gallup. Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine he's back before then.
He confirmed that he's out week 1, and at that point, why not just give him the full time on the PUP, the 4 weeks?
Right.
Because it really keeps throwing me off that they have moved the PUP from 6 weeks down to 4 weeks. Same with injured reserve.
Yeah, I don't know what the NFL's doing with those rules. I mean, I think they're kind of subjective in the first place. So am I supposed to go tight end here? What did you say, Jack? Sorry.
You're going wide receiver here, not tight end.
I'm going wide receiver.
I mean, if you
We're
want
not-
to go
Please,
tight
thank
end.
God.
We're not going to force you to take another tight end. Do not worry.
Thank God. Let's see where are we at here. How many picks we have left?
We have, this is round 13, so that means we will have 4 picks left,
Cool.
I think. 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, so 5 picks left. This flex here on the board, I forgot to remove it when we got it selected, so that will be gone. 5 picks left. And another QB to EFP.
Oh shit. My bad. I missed it. I'm the worst drafter.
That's
Especially
okay.
after I've had 1.5 drinks and I'm the worst drafter.
We forgive you. At least you've got 2 competent quarterbacks now. They have different bye weeks.
I'm sorry, Jack. Listen, I don't remember having a conversation about doing a best ball draft. So maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, but I wasn't prepared.
I think it was more me assuming that you would remember from last time, but I forgot you also did many shows with us over the course of last year. So
I've done several. Several.
This was on me.
That's all right.
I ambushed you live on camera, live on the internet, and
live on the internet.
Yeah, after forgetting to give you a date for the time of or a time for
That's
this
right.
stream.
That's right. I'm gonna blame it all on you. Throw you under the bus.
Oh yeah, no. Edwin is going to be severing his relationship with me after this show. He's still going to be on good terms with Steve and the rest of Important Nonsense, but he is moving on from Jack Kavanaugh.
That's not right. That's not true. That's not true.
You got to spin, Jack.
Spin it, Jack. Come on. You got 30 seconds
I'm on the clock.
On TC.
Running back.
Gross.
Yeah.
Very.
It is the last running back we have to take, though. So the rest is wide receivers and flex.
Thank God, because I'm not wanting any more running backs.
No, the 5 running backs is enough for me.
So circling back to the James Conner situation, I still don't trust him, and so I'm going to take Eno Benjamin there.
Love that. Love that you're taking him ahead of Darrell Williams because people overvalue they see the name. Oh, I know this guy, Darrell Williams. Like, yeah, he did stuff for Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year. He was good. They're not reading the practice reports that pretty much have called it. Eno Benjamin is the 2.
Yeah.
Darrell
Patrick Mahomes vouched for him. Okay. Why would the Arizona staff care?
I guess I'm going to go and draft a player that I have rallied against the last 2 days, J.D. McKissick.
That'll do it.
Maybe Gibson's just going to turn into the receiving role back, and Brian Robinson's going to be the pounder, and then McKissick's just going to be gone.
That very well could happen. Unlikely because they did
kind
of strong arm him to coming back. But Antonio Gibson not dead yet.
Not quite.
Still a freak athlete. still the closest thing to Jonathan Taylor from a size speed comparison in the NFL right now. Wide receiver up next.
I'm still 8 picks away. Holy cow.
Coming up in 5 from me. And Van Jefferson, undraftable. Am I wrong here?
Van Jefferson is probably not somebody you want to invest anything in.
Because we don't know how
chronic
long.
knee issue this late in the offseason too. Getting it figured out.
Not great. Not great. You don't love that.
Do we even know what the actual injury is with Van Jefferson?
Idea. No,
they said it was just something that's been bothering him for over a year, even, and they hadn't quite gotten it figured out yet,
which is not great.
And he had chronic knee issues going back to Ole Miss. Am I?
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be misremembering, but I thought he had some injury issues back at Ole Miss before he ended up transferring to the school he transferred to, Florida. So, love this guy that I'm hoping to get here. Up in 2 picks, KJ Osborne. Please come to me. And another player, too, that just complete right off, Jameson Williams. Why is he going in the 15th round?
Yeah, because he should be. He's not going to be back until at least October. And he's coming back to a team led by Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, October is like the safest bet. Like October is the soonest he'd be back. And at that point, we're looking at week, what is that? That's like week 5 or 6 or something like that. And I mean, he's a rookie. He's not going to have any camp time. He's obviously super talented, but nah, man, like.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm saying he should be going even later than round 15.
Yes.
Okay. He might not even be draftable in a best ball. In a seasonal, absolutely not, because you can just pick him up off the waiver wire when you hear that he's starting to get good news. But no, Jameson Williams, why clog your bench with him?
Right. I'm with you there.
As I draft another chronically injured player, Paris Campbell.
Hey, I like
this is his year.
I like Paris Campbell.
Good.
Yeah. He's free.
He's free. He's an elite athlete. He seems like a pretty cool dude in the interviews, being really open about the recovery process, which we don't hear enough from athletes, the mental grind that it takes being injured. I like it. I'm rooting for him as a person, and it seems like Matt Ryan's rooting for him as a player.
I went Will Fuller here. YOLO.
Oh,
keeping the dream alive here.
The unsigned Will Fuller.
That's right. The unsigned Will Fuller.
It's just crazy that there was so much excitement in the offseason whenever he was the free agent. And like, well, where's he going to go? I mean, he has to be recovered from his broken finger or whatever that cost him basically the entire season.
Yeah, I don't know what went on with that. That was really weird.
There's the conspiracy theory that he signed with Miami expecting Deshaun Watson to be traded there. And then when he didn't get traded, Fuller had no interest in playing.
Interesting.
That's just conspiracy theory. But
and then he was waiting for the Watson news to get figured out for this season. Now he's like, all right, well, it's 11 games. Do I want to go to Cleveland for not even a quarter of the season?
Interesting.
That could be what we're waiting for. We could be waiting for him to sign elsewhere. Will Fuller is one of the biggest enigmas in the NFL.
Yeah, he's no idea what's going on with that guy.
Both off the field, on the field, as a player. Because he's going to put up fantasy points in bundles most of the time he starts.
That's right.
It's just, when does he start? When does he sign?
One of these days, I think. Oh, here I am on the clock.
Wide receiver. Man. When does he come in and steal the job of Sammy Watkins? That's what the people want to know.
He would shoot up boards if Green Bay was where he picked.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go here. Let's go Khalil Shakur. I know JJ Zachariason likes him. I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of running out of names, so we'll go with whatever JJ thinks.
I liked him a lot coming out, and I was excited whenever he was drafted to Buffalo, but the draft capital scared me a bit. and the fact that they signed Jameson Crowder as well as Isaiah McKenzie. So I'm just thinking he's going to be a post 2022 stud.
Could be. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm going to go with the guy that had the mini breakout at the end of last year, got overpaid by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but is still a deep threat, can still score deep touchdowns in the 17th round or 16th round of a best ball. That's all we can really hope for in Zay Jones.
Zay Jones.
That could have been either Zay Jones or Christian Kirk, really.
Well, Christian Kirk got drafted a long time ago.
I just meant that description. If the team paid him a little bit too much money, to say the least.
Well, could give the same description to Evan Ingram too. Wide receiver.
Jacksonville really overpaid, man. They overpaid for everybody on their team.
They
paid him like they were paying the Tampa Bay Bucks offense.
When you're that talent poor, you have to overpay to get people to come. But I still think they picked the wrong players to chase after and overpay.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
At least they got that guard from Washington, Brandon Scherf, who has a lot of long history of lower body injuries, coming off a season-ending injury as well. And on the offensive line, when you're in your 30s and have a bunch of lower body injuries,
not great, huh?
Is it the best idea to be paying those types of players as the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Not great, huh?
When has Trent Baalke ever thought about what he was doing when it came to moves?
I think he thought long and hard about Evan Ingram. He just made the wrong decision. We've been updating the headshots over at playerprofiler.com too. Evan Ingram is not looking great.
What's that supposed to mean?
It just, he shaved his head. He's not looking like the young, vivacious man he used to. He looks like he's seen some stuff.
I mean, I thought that it was going to go
totally off the rails. This is totally off the rails at this point.
I'm sorry to say, but just Evan Ingram has changed.
He's a changed man, huh?
The Joe Judge era.
Not for the better.
Yeah,
Not
the
for the
Joe
better,
Judge era of the New York Giants really did some
really
stuff.
wore him out. Yeah, really wore him out.
Grow your hair back, please. Taking Curtis Samuel here, my final wide receiver pick, because at least there's some upside left on the bone there, even if his hamstring is not on the bone. And then last round quarterback. Jeez.
That's not ideal.
No. Absolute garbage left here.
Honestly, I was expecting worse. But we're also not to the pick yet, so that could get a lot worse quickly.
Who did you end up taking there, Edwin? Oh, you're on the clock here.
I'm on the clock right now.
Tyquan Thornton, broken collarbone. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did. We talked a whole lot about how bad the Browns were, but hey, I mean, when it's best ball, when you got to listen to a freaking wheel to get your picks.
David Bell's not bad either. There's at least some upside to him seeing targets out of the slot.
Something like that. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's good, Jack. I like that. Let's do it. Targets out of the slot. It's good.
Jacoby Brissett checking it down. Last pick, we're going to be taking a quarterback. Edwin, I think you get full reign of what you take.
At this point, yeah, that's my bad, guys.
That's all right. We'll forgive you. Especially after I ambushed you about the show and messed up the time. And
no, you're fine. I've done worse.
Then attacked Evan Ingram's everything about him. Just went cutthroat.
So I had to cancel on Justin Boone once, and it was so bad. It was like both of the times were last minute after we had rescheduled once. The second time, I just canceled on him again. And I felt so bad about it. I apologized to him 100 times. We're good now, but I wouldn't blame him if he hated me after that.
Who could hate you?
Justin Boone.
Well, clearly not. You reconciled.
Yeah. We're good. We're good now. Here I am again.
Till
Let's
next
see.
time he invites you on the show and
That's right.
and you cancel. Then at that point,
let's go Kyle Phillips here. Whatever. YOLO.
Steve says, hello, Edwin. Sorry I had to miss the show today, but hope all is well working with the baseball world.
Steve. Hi, man. We're good.
Steve is in back to school mode, unfortunately, so he could not attend.
Back to school. Back to school.
You excited to not be going back to school right now, Edwin?
Dude, I would never go back to school. I'm not going to do that again.
How many years
doing
did it
that.
ended up being?
7. 8 if you count my residency.
I count your
Terrible.
residency.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Wouldn't wish it on anyone.
I wouldn't do it again. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't.
But you did it and you made it. Oh,
I would sell ayahuasca to athletes if I had to do a career move, a career change. That's what I would do.
But then you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers, and do you really want that clientele in your life?
True.
He could just, overcharge.
That's right. Yeah.
And that would be like, all right, well, I'm dealing with him, but at least I'm getting a lot of money out of it.
Well, and you know that Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy that wants you to sit there and do it with him, though.
Yeah, he's a guy that does that to you.
Good old Pineapple Express style.
Yeah, he's gonna stay. He's gonna do it on your couch. He's gonna be sitting there. He's gonna want you to get him snacks.
He's the guy who he's the guy who has a lot of money, and he'll say something like, "Oh, dude, just leave. Just don't go to work for a week. It's fine. You'll be totally more aware and conscious after that." And you're like, "Dude, I'll lose my job." And he's like, "That doesn't matter." That's Aaron Rodgers. Just no perception of what it's like to have a real job. No ground to reality. I've hammered enough on Aaron Rodgers. I don't even know the guy. I have no idea if that's him.
Steve had to sit through his son's open house. It's even less thrilling than it sounds.
Oof.
Back to school season. Edwin, you want to attend an open house with Steve and I?
An open house? What's that about? Buy a house?
Just go tour a school. We're all gonna attend together.
That sounds probably creepier than you intended it to.
It did.
It did. I'm probably not. I'm gonna pass.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pass.
Especially if you look like you do, Jack. I don't know if you're allowed.
I meant to college. Totally meant to college. We're gonna go to a college, all enroll together. But that is the end of the draft here. Unfortunately, going through the teams is going to be a little bit more difficult than it usually is. So, Edwin, do you want to just take us through the highs/lows of your team real quick?
Yeah, the highs of my team are Jamar Chase and Saquon. I actually started and I said, well, this might actually be a pretty good draft. Then I drafted 2 running backs, Ezekiel Elliott and no, not 2. I went Ezekiel Elliott and I don't remember the exact order. I had to go tight end. Ended up going Darren Waller, Dawson Knox. There's just nothing spectacular to talk about here, man. The wheel is a cold-hearted individual.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I'm feeling too. There's just nothing spectacular to talk about. I was blessed with Christian McCaffrey at the 105 and then just went on to squander it with this.
That was the last blessing you had the entire time.
Yeah, it did not go well. Got the stack with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. Got Davis Mills paired with no one. It just, you know what? We're going to try again another week. It'll get better. But in the meantime, Edwin, do you have any final pluggables to plug?
Nope. Follow me on Twitter at FBInjuryDoc. Go to my podcast. Please listen to that Injury Prone podcast. Jack, Mike, we just drafted 3 really bad best ball teams. I don't know what we accomplished here, but we did it.
Whatever was accomplished, at least we can say we did it.
That's right.
Together.
We did it together, and make sure you check out importantnonsense.com. You can check out the Patreon. You can sign up, use Underdog, and promo code nonsense. Check out the Important Nonsense store, shop.importantnonsense.com. And until next week, we will see you next time.